Protect your DNA. BioPQQ can promote formation of new mitochondria. Infowarsstore.com.
In an effort to stem the tide of a nationwide opioid drug addiction epidemic, federal officials are actually calling on doctors to stop prescribing so many of these chronic pain medications to patients. These are opioid painkillers. They're members of the morphine family like OxyContin and Vicodin. They are prescribed to as much as 4% of the U.S. population. That's at least 250 million prescriptions. From 1999 to 2014, about 165,000 people died of overdoses. Now, the CDC director, Thomas Frieden, said, "We know of no other drug prescribed so frequently that kills so many patients." Now, they're going to set out some new guidelines. Now, of course, these guidelines are not going to have the power of law, but they're saying it's going to guide insurance company recommendations to doctors and VA administrators for those prescriptions, because of course, as we know, they are pumping the veterans there. If you go, they're like, well, here's 30 different kinds of prescriptions. See ya. Hopefully this won't kill you. Now, these guidelines, of course, are not going to affect cancer patients or those in hospice care, but they're going to be for people who go in for work injuries, car crashes, other causes of long-term pain. They say opioids should be the last option for these patients. And secondly, when given, doses should start out low and only increase slowly. And third, patients should be monitored, and a plan for getting them off the drugs should start with their prescription, which, oh my goodness, I worked in a doctor's office and I cannot tell you in the early days of OxyContin how many times the reps would come in, get the doctor to prescribe this pain pill and never explain how addictive it is. So then these people would turn into drug seekers and then you'd toss them out on the street. So there was no plan for helping to wean these people off once they became addicted to this highly potent, highly effective painkiller. Now, statistics suggest that 1 out of every 150 patients prescribed these long-term opioid painkillers die of a condition that's related to their prescription within 3 years of its start. So this is really awful. And of course, Americans, we are the most drugged people out there. Americans consume 80% of all prescription painkillers, even though we're less than 5% of the world's population. We buy 4/5 of these highly addictive drugs. Now, according to the CDC, more than 28,000 Americans died from opioid overdoses in 2014 alone. Those deaths represented 60% of all drug overdose deaths in the United States. So that is more than heroin and cocaine combined. People are dying from prescription painkillers that they're legally obtaining from their doctor. So if you want to talk about the war on drugs, it's the DEA, of course, shipping in these drugs that they are then putting into your pain pills. So we need to, start there, because it's actually, according to these statistics, safer for people to get the street versions of these drugs rather than getting the prescription. And now, in order to sort of help reduce the drug violence there in Mexico, a governor is actually floating the idea of allowing the legal cultivation of opium poppies for medicinal purposes. So they say this is going to help to weaken the hold that gangsters have on local farmers there. Now, to my knowledge, the DEA is not getting its opium poppies from Mexico, but of course we know these things are coming across the border. Opium poppies are used to make opium and heroin, as well as morphine and other pain-killing drugs. So this is where the DEA is legally shipping these in to then pass them along to these pharmaceutical manufacturers. So Big Pharma is the real pusher. And if you know anyone that's been affected personally with a drug addiction to painkillers, and you know just how devastating this can be and how destructive this is for our society, these are the people that should be behind bars in the war on drugs. Now, here is a flashback from an interview that Alex Jones did. He was talking with medical expert David Breckler about just what Big Pharma has done to medicine.
We're just going to look at the angle of, as an insider, the secrets of the nutraceutical vitamin system, the outside Codex Alimentarius attempted takeover. I want to look at it from the governments and corporations trying to shut it down, and then what's happening inside of it as well.
Yeah, Alex, we're lucky that we could even buy these supplements, because they do want to shut it down. We are a major competition to Big Pharma, and because we actually have better products. If you look at the Big Pharma, find me a great product that Big Pharma has. They don't have any.
St. John's wort, WebMD, 20 years ago, double better than Prozac in double-blind studies.
Exactly, without the side effects. It doesn't turn you into a homicidal maniac. Imagine that. It's even safe, it's safe for almost everybody.
And it's a fact that Mother Nature had something better.
Yep. And, it's great to see this platform because health freedom and political freedom go hand in hand. If you don't have the political freedom to treat your own body, then you've really lost your freedom. And that's what's really great about the show is that you're constantly promoting both political freedom and health freedom. They go hand in hand. And to all the listeners out there, as this thing starts to wind up, the government is going to come after our supplements. They've done it before, and they'll do it again.
Well, they admit they've got all these attorney generals lining up with the feds to do it. They say, I've had folks on from Codex Alimentarius. Explain to folks what that is, because people go, the UN wants our supplements? Yes, in Europe, they've already lowered the allowances of what you can even get and jacked up prices.
Yeah, well, thanks to Bill Clinton, he signed all this Codex and NAFTA, which makes international guidelines to what you can supply. So people in Europe are going to say, you can only have 10 milligrams of vitamin C. That's the limit. So they're going to make it worldwide. You won't be able to get a vitamin C more than 10 milligrams if that's what they decide in Belgium.
And then it makes it impossible to be a mass producer and sell to a bunch of countries because everyone's different through a global treaty.
Yep. And meanwhile, the whole world is buying U.S. supplements. The Chinese market is expanding quickly right now. And consumers in China, they want American-made supplements because they're the highest quality in the world.
Because it's kind of good that we get harassed by the FDA because it makes us the best.
Exactly. Well, I work with a lot of California companies, and California has the highest standards for heavy metals and for general quality control. So that's why when you test the products, they're squeaky clean.
Well, we know we're a target anyway, so that's why we go super neurotic.
Yeah, well, you're doing a great job. Some of the products you have, like your DNA Force, is one of the most advanced nutraceutical products in the world.
And you guys didn't even...
no, that's not even my product.
Yeah. It really is expensive.
No, you guys are on the cutting edge and just supplying the information and the products to go with it. It's a great place to buy your supplements.
Well, number one, I want to reap what I sow, but also we know we're targets. So people can be guaranteed that we're having it triple tested.
Yep, absolutely.
And we've got all the filing cabinets ready and everything done just right. And, everything with yellow tape on it. We've got every neurotic rule and the lawyers and the science. And we're trying to do a good job.
Yeah, you're doing a fantastic job.
Well, when I come back after this break with our guest, David Breckler, we're going to get into mainstream medicine's failure, all those points, difference between true and junk supplements. Because, look, I'm not going to name names here. We could put out for $20 a bottle of something that costs us $1 with the bottle. And we go to these that's why we ended up working with you guys. You guys want to put out really high-quality stuff. We go out there, and people are like, yeah, and these are other big companies. You want to spend $15 on what goes in the bottle or $50? Are you insane? And we're like, yeah, we actually want real stuff. And we're going to talk about that because versus synthetic vitamins, real vitamins. This is so important. David Breckler visits us here at the Infowars.com studios in Austin, Texas. I'm Alex Jones. Stay with us. David Breckler, the vitamin man, the insider, is our guest. All right, you've got the floor because during the breaks, you are really breaking it down. Amazing intel information. You were telling me the war's here, the next big wave that we see every 8-9 years to restrict supplements and health freedom, along with Obamacare. This is the takeover of healthcare. One of the few growth industries in our country is supplements. They're coming after it. One of our only exports is supplements. They're coming after our economy. David, break it down.
Yeah, we're really lucky to be able to buy these supplements here in America because a lot of countries, you can't buy them. Canada is really restricted, and many places in Europe, it's very, very restricted in what you can buy. So to be able to take your own responsibility, look out for your own health care is really unique in America, and it's something that we all have to fight to keep.
Other big news. You were just talking about Prozac during the break.
Yeah, well, Infowars breaks the news on Prozac better than any other news organization. Every time there's one of these mass murders, you know it. The guy's on some form of antidepressant or SSRI drug. And, I was telling Alex during the break that, they've got the Prozac up on the screen right here. And Prozac was one of the #1 antidepressants, but it doesn't work. It's not that clinically effective on normal depression. So you get addicted to this stuff, you can't get off of it, and you go to the doctor. Since he can't get you off the Prozac, he puts you on Abilify.
My fellow InfoWarriors, I am very excited to be able to announce to you the introduction at InfoWarsLife.com of a new way to save time and money when you stock up on InfoWars Life formulations like Survival Shield X2 and Super Male Vitality. Just go to InfoWarsLife.com today, select your favorite product, click on Auto Ship before adding to cart, and choose how often you want us to send you another order. Every time you choose Auto Ship at InfoWarsLife.com, you get 10% off, and you won't have to worry about running out and having to reorder next time. And of course, you can cancel with one click anytime. As you know, I'm all about the idea of a 360 win, and the new auto ship feature at InfoWarsLife.com is a sure win for everybody. A win for liberty, a win for health, and a win when it comes to big savings. Visit InfoWarsLife.com today and save 10% on your next InfoWars Life order by selecting auto ship at checkout. That's InfoWarsLife.com or call 888-253-3139.